I want to tell you about a yarn that I think is frequently on people's naughty list. Like they just don't like working with it. So if you like luxury products and you don't want to pay luxury prices, you're in the right place, because that is 100% me. Definitely champagne taste on a beer budget. So I wanted to share this project with you and kind of jumpstart your creative process, because it doesn't have to be this hat, but I think this hat is a great example of how you can get like a really luxe products by spending pretty much less than $5. And the secret to this is using eyelash yarn. This yarn isn't labeled eyelash yarn like this one is, but it is pretty much the same thing. This yarn is called Just Yarn Plush. It is available at the Dollar Tree, and it has a very soft teddy bear feeling. The construction is extremely similar to this yarn right here, which is also a Premier yarn that is labeled eyelash. The difference mainly is that the eyelashes are a little bit longer on this, and it is like a slick, silky type feeling, where this very much has a plush teddy bear microfiber type of feeling. But your results are going to be very, very similar. Plenty of people hate this yarn, and for good reason. I think that if you are working with it and you don't know what you're expecting, it can be a total pain in the butt. And for other reasons, I think when a lot of newbie yarn crafters, are like shopping for yarn, I was totally this way. I didn't know, like when I wasn't experienced enough and I went into the yarn store and I'm just looking at things, it was always the novelty yarns catching my eye, because they are fun and different and not boring like a 4-weight acrylic is. So I think sometimes people purchasing these yarns might be a little in over their head, and it's easy to do. So I think the number one reason you might hate working with eyelash yarn is because it can be nearly impossible to see your stitches. I've got a project here, and I still have my fair ribbon on it. I haven't taken that off. But I made this whole project out of the same yarn from Dollar Tree. It was out a couple years ago, and I didn't see any in my Dollar Tree last year, but this year it is back, and there's a few colors, and I would encourage you to pick some of this up. So when I'm posting this video, and even I guess when I'm filming it too, it is after Halloween. You really might not want a candy corn themed shawl or scarf. But I have to say, it is extremely soft, and you could totally 100% make it out of just one color. It's just that these were available. If I would have seen orange this year, I think I would have picked it up, but I don't think I saw any orange. I'm kind of in an orange phase, so I feel like I would have bought it if it was there. I might have to check some footage and see if it's there or not. But when I made this, I believe I used like a 10mm hook, and it was nearly impossible to see the stitches. You are going 100% by feel, but it is very drapey. It is very soft. I mean, this is maybe one of the softest wearable items I have. And since this ribbon is 2 years old and I still have it on, you can see I haven't worn it since I entered it in the fair. Not because of the novelty yarn, but because of the novelty of the project. But what I want to tell you is you can make a project like this and really give it that luxe feel by adding the eyelash yarn to a very basic acrylic. Now, you could definitely use something nicer than this, but when I'm pairing yarns, I like to keep the yarns within the same fiber content family, so that if I were to need to wash it, chances are I wouldn't have so much adverse effects. Or if I were to be gifting this, like I feel like I could make this up for like my daughter or my niece, something like that, and I would want it to be something where, number one, I didn't spend a fortune on it, and number two, it would have easy care. And I like to pair these up with big twist. I do have a Joann in my area. That means driving about an hour for me. But my Joann usually has a fair amount of big twist stocked, and it's just a nice, durable budget yarn. It is, in my opinion, a little bit, I mean, it's in probably everyone's opinion, it is a little bit softer than Red Heart Super Saver, and I like the colorways that it does come in. And so far, I have been able to pair up like this gold one, this tan one. I even actually have a big twist that is in a real dark evergreen type of color. I can't think what the name of it is right now, but it blends perfectly with this one. You could also use a tonal yarn. I don't know if I would use a variegated that has a lot of different colors, but you know, something like this tan, using this with, you know, a neutral variegated, I think that would go perfectly. I would keep it all relatively within the same, you know, within like a short distance in the color family, if that makes sense. But you could definitely do that, and I think it would look great and give it some added dimension. And even though these colors are not perfectly joined up, they are so close that it really blends just seamlessly. So like this is the tan I used from the big twist, and then this is the tan I used in the plush. And it worked out great. So let me tell you a little bit about my hat. When I think of luxury, I think, you know, it's always like a little bit extra. So I really feel that the plush adds that extra element. You've got an added element of softness, and it took the acrylic yarn to a totally different level of softness. Like, you would not know that it was just a basic acrylic. So the softness factor, the texture, I think the tone on tone are all very luxurious. And then I made this beanie, I made it for myself. So I knew my head measurements, but I made it a little bit slouchy, and I made it so I could get a really nice thick brim on it. Because to me, those are also things that just kind of silently signal luxury as well. Just, it's oversized. You can have a thick oversized brim, and you've got a little here extra in the back too, just to be that little added level of luxury. Now, I used my basic beanie pattern for this. I will have that linked up here, and I use this all the time. It is super easy, and it's pretty darn quick to crank out. Now, the one difference I did is that when I have done it on other beanies like this, I've done them in the back loop only to add that texture. But trust me, with this one, you don't need to waste your time. That is an extra step that is actually going to make things more difficult, since that eyelash yarn makes it a little bit harder to see the stitches. That being said, pairing it with the 4-weight acrylic makes it tremendously easier to see the stitches. It was night and day compared to working on this shawl right here. So I did every single row just straight up through both loops. I really, really love how it turned out. And since I did make this a little bit longer, you'll see that mine was just about 14 inches, maybe just a smidge longer. I try to leave a little extra for, you know, the top of it where it gets bunched up right there. I may look at putting a nice tan pom-pom on the back of this. I might not. We'll see. I might just kind of like mock it up and take a little bit of yarn through and put it on there, not actually tie it on, and see how I like it, or if I don't because of the slouchiness. But that is another aspect that can add that little touch of luxury there. And for my head size, you know, my head is kind of around 22 inches in circumference, and I like mine to, I like to make it a little bit smaller so that when it stretches out, it does stay on my head nice and tight. Don't want to cutting off the circulation, of course, but I do like it to be nice and tight. I have found when I have made hats that are pretty much exactly my head size, it tends to stretch out and it starts sliding down a little bit. So I believe this one was about 18 or 19 inches when I sewed up the seam. And again, that video where I show how to make the beanie, or talk you through making the beanie. Tells you all the relevant information you need to know about it. Like I said, the only change is that I did not do any in the back loop because it wasn't necessary. And for this project, I did use a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. And I will put that down in the description if you want to come back later on, so you don't have to try to remember that. And while we're talking about the description box, I am going to have a link to Rachel from the Faded Wildflower Crochet. We decided to team up on this project. Her channel's totally different than mine. I love her channel, and she does stuff that I just don't do. So if you are a person who either loves amigurumi, or you're wanting to get into amigurumi, or you've tried it and you've had trouble picking out the right yarns and stuff, her channel is going to be a wealth of information for you. She had a similar yarn from the Dollar Tree. This was, oh my gosh, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, I'm not sure, but I had talked to her and just said, you know, if you like that, try finding this plush yarn. I think you'll love it. Well, here it is. The fall came back. She found it as well. And she's got a series on her channel called Will It Ami. And I don't know if this video of hers that we're doing in collaboration will be in that series or not. But she goes through and walks you through. She tries out a bunch of different yarns and rates them and explains why it's good for amigurumi or not, and what her experience was. If you're wondering if she's qualified to tell you this, she is. She has been running an Etsy store for quite a while. She is a pattern designer, and she also does like custom orders of different things. So I will have all of her information linked below. If you do love amigurumi, or you just kind of want to see more about this Just Yarn Plush from the Dollar Tree, check out her video. So I did get a little sneak peek, and I know she worked up something amazing, and it blows my hat out of the water. I'm not gonna lie, it blows my shawl out of the water. But I'm not an amigurumi type of gal. I don't know if it's the attention to detail or all the little parts, or I just don't have any family members to give them to. I don't know, combination of all of them maybe, but I'm excited to watch her video. I'm thinking about adding a small playlist on my channel of yarns on the naughty list, especially since at the time I am filming this, we are heading into the holiday season. I thought it seemed somewhat appropriate, and there's a few yarns I love that I think a lot of people don't. So let me know down in the comments if you would like some of my tips or tricks or hacks or whatever you want to call them for some of these difficult yarns that I actually really love. I've got a video on working with velvet yarn, since that can be so problematic, and it's a little bit older on my channel, but it still gets views, so I'm thinking about redoing that video and just trying to film it a little bit better and make it a little bit easier to watch, but I will have the old one linked above. Getting back to eyelash yarn. If you want to give it a shot, definitely pop over to the Dollar Tree and grab some of this to see if it's something you like working with. I did a little bit of snooping around online, and some of my go-to place, well, I will say all of my go-to places for yarn that I usually get didn't really have much of a selection at all. I have never actually ordered from the Premier website. Like, this is Premier Yarn, but really the Dollar Tree Premier is the only Premier that I have experience with. So I did check out their website, and they have an eyelash yarn. You can also get some Premier eyelash yarn on Hirschner's website the last time I looked. Well, when I looked it up this morning. I also saw that Hobby, I think it's Hobby, had some on their website, and I haven't ordered from them either, so I can't really tell you the ins and outs of what I think about it, but it is there. And I know that I have also seen some that were a little bit higher end on Little Knit's website, and I haven't ordered from there before, and they were more in like their clearance novelty yarn area, and so I don't really remember seeing anything kind of plain like this. A lot of them had you know, like maybe a little bit more shimmer or like a little bit of metallic, but something like that would be really, really stunning paired with a neutral, you know, be it like a white or a gray or a black, something like that, I think would have a very luxurious look and feel to it. So the possibilities are really pretty much endless based on what you pair it with, but I've really come to the conclusion that as far as wearables are concerned, and as far as my temperament and my patience, the best way to work with eyelash yarn is pairing it with a nice 4-weight yarn. If you're curious, I hope you give it a shot. And basically, I made this hat for under $5. So I didn't feel like I was really, even if I would have hated it, I really wouldn't have been out that much. I tried to buy my big twist when it is $3 or under. I think it's easy enough to wait for a sale, and it does seem to be on sale for $3 or less fairly regularly at Joann. I just kind of know the colors that I am attracted to and are in my wardrobe and I'm going to use. I try to work within a color scheme, so I don't mind picking up a few of these big twist values when it does go on sale. I know I had gotten this, it's the Pound Plus. It is 1,093 yards. It is 17.6 ounces. And I believe I got this for about $6, and I don't remember if it was like 60 cents or 70 or 90 or something like that, but it was under $7 because it was on sale, and I was also able to use an online coupon as well. So again, I love mustard. I know not everyone does, but I do. The color, not the condiment. But yeah, I love it. So I did pick up 2 of these because I thought it would be great. I could do a larger project if I wanted, but it's also coming in handy just pulling it out for some of these smaller ones. So I don't think that I'm going to do a mustard hat, but I might. I don't know. I was thinking more of a triangle scarf out of this. I thought it would be nice and cozy. But if you want a very luxury feeling and looking hat, definitely run out to the Dollar Tree and then head over to Joann's and pick up some of this plush yarn and some big twist. And don't forget to check out Rachel's video. It will be amazing. I'm thankful to have this opportunity to kind of work together with her. Just see how you can take one yarn and turn it into like completely different objects. If you're looking for a little bit more yarn content, I would love it if you wanted to join my channel membership. There is a link down in the description box as well, and that will get you 2 more exclusive pieces of content per month. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.